It's late, but I'm going to do a few string of these response videos to a few people. I'll try to get through them rather quickly. So first, this DynaCatlovesme guy who's really getting annoying. Alright, so anyway, his first argument is about a comment he left where he again asserted that he knows, science says, all the atoms inside of a substance, every single atom in that substance, are identical. So if it's got gold in it, every single gold atom is identical. If it's made of uranium, every uranium atom is identical. And so it's a complete mystery how radioactivity happens, because we know they're all identical. One isn't older than the other. They don't have eccentric orbits that are different than each other. There's no nuance about any of those atoms that can be at all different or distinct to that atom. And he's telling me, that's his assertion, is that's what science says and that's what science has proven, and that's just an outright outrageous, preposterous exaggeration of what we know. And I'm not going to argue it. It's just preposterous assholery for him to claim that I must accept that fact, that that's a scientific truth. It is not a scientific truth, and I claim quite the otherwise, that there are nuances of atoms, and I use the metaphor of a solar system and the fact that it could have a comet in it that was just roaming around for 2 billion years, and then one day it smashes into an Earth. And then another solar system, it could be identically structured, and that comet hits another planet in a different orbit in 5 billion years. And another solar system, it could hit it in 3 billion years. So there would always be these subtle differences, and atoms can have the same nuance. What makes up an electron, what makes up the how the quanta are organized in the atom can be distinct. Where exactly the electron is at any one moment is going to be different for every single atom. They're not at 12 o'clock at all the same time. They're not up or down, and the quarks aren't up or down or left or right or all this other kind of crap. They're in different places, and that's why they behave differently, and one shoots off a photon or some other electromagnetic energy at different times. And that's why, yes, there's a probability built into the fact that if something happens to atoms as they degrade over time, that radioactive atoms, and it's dependent on how they're structured. It's not mystery, it's not phantasmagorical. There is an answer. We just don't have a magnifying glass powerful enough to see the answer, but it's there. So fuck you. Alright, first thing solved. So I'll move on past all this whining about being blocked. You're blocked because you're an asshole. You're wasting my motherfucking time. This is issues I've answered. I've answered them satisfactorily, and now you're just exaggerating. You're perverting my answers and distorting them, you motherfucker.
What I was saying, in fact, I'll make it a little stronger.
Yeah, go ahead.
What Inmendum is selling is a religion. It's dogma.
Yeah, well, you can't isolate any of this dogma. All right, consumption, reproduction, cannibalism, addiction, unintelligent design. Yeah, there's just no complete feudal system of make a need, chase a need. Contrive a carrot to chase. That's what life's built out of. It has no functionality whatsoever. It's a molecule intending to replicate itself. Not even intending, structured, built to replicate itself. And that's all it's doing. It's replication for the sake of replication. No other accomplishment, nothing else in the mechanism but that singular purpose. Now you want to call that a fucking religion? Fuck you. You're a cunt.
And if you don't adhere to his dogma, then you're anathema. It's just that simple.
No, if you don't force or oblige me to sit there and accept your motherfucking unicorn theories, okay? You're the one trying to assert things. You're the one saying that I have to believe this. This is what science says. That's not what science says. That's your perversion of the facts, asshole. And I will demonstrate your perversion right in this fucking video. You are the one perverting the truth. You are the one perverting the facts. You're a fucking perverter.
Really, the bottom line of what he's selling is, life sucks, your life sucks, and the only way out is
Yeah, that's not where. That's not a direct quote, right? I never said that about anybody else's life, did I? No, I've said their life is likely inefficient. I'd said their life is likely costing other sentients more than their gratification is worth.
You to end it while he watches. I mean, that's the bottom
Right,
line.
so he just said it's about you ending your life again. I've explicitly said this at least 10 times now in videos, so I'll say it 11 times. I say party like it's 1999. Get drunk, do drugs, have great times, laugh your motherfucking ass off, fornicate all over the fucking place, live to be 115. Alright? Just don't have any fucking babies! Not that complicated, twart, twipe, fucking asshole, lying piece of shit!
He's got all this theory that goes along with it. What do they call it? The canon? The canon of
Yeah, it's not that complicated. Again, consumption, reproduction, cannibalism, addiction, unintelligent design. Just deal with those two, fucker. You ballless motherfucking weasel.
but seriously, that's what he's selling. You ought to off yourself.
Now, point to the video where I said that. Point to one fucking video where I told somebody they ought to off themselves. Just do it, asshole. Alright? Or else I'm going to call you a liar. Alright? You got it? You're either a liar, prove your claim, or you're a fucking liar. A demonstrable liar. Where? What video have I ever suggested to people they should kill themselves? Point me to that fucking video, or you're a motherfucking liar.
So, yeah, he's going to be offended by that.
And I damn right should be.
But I got to tell it like it is.
Yeah, tell it like you wish it was, how you need it to be to make your bullshit make any goddamn sense. That's right, you have to pervert and distort what the other guy says because that's the only way your lies can make any sense to anybody. You fucking cheater. You're a motherfucking weasel cheater.
Yesterday, he said something that I totally agree with. I think he was spot on, right on the money.
Well, I'm going to skip this. He doesn't remember what that was, and then he fucks around, gets the wrong clip, so we'll move ahead.
But when he talks about a unique circumstance, he started off a little bit before that, describing the Earth as being so unique. But when life started, the Earth was not so atypical.
Alright, I'm not going to play the whole thing here, okay? It's more of this fucking goddamn Drake equation crap. We're talking about abiogenesis. We're not talking about once life already exists. I understand that once life already exists, it's going to break all kinds of rules, okay? Laws of thermodynamics and all kinds of things go right out the fucking window once you have a replicating machine that exists. Alright, so that's not the fucking point. My point is what's the odds of life itself being created? And let us look at all this other chemistry that's out there. How come, if this is something the universe intends to do, as some people are arguing, I'm arguing against, now how come all these other elements aren't creating reproducing devices? How come in all our analysis of all the known universe that we have been able to contact in some way, we find no other chemistry that has ever reproduced itself? Okay, in any kind of evolving manner, with any kind of capacity to ever change or do it differently. Alright, beyond crystals forming more crystals, I mean beyond some process obliging crystals to be formed and some other mechanisms like that, we have absolutely no evidence of reproduction anywhere else. We have one event in all of known universal history. Alright, I'm asking you that question. Why doesn't it happen? Alright, and we have a plethora. Again, you're going to keep arguing it has to be this unique circumstance in this first Earth full of ammonia or full of some other chemistry. Conceded. I'm not arguing that the first living thing was in this atmosphere. I've even made this argument that the first living thing only succeeded because it evolved fast enough to eat its own shit. And that's the only way it was able to survive. Because the mechanism has built into it no controller, no death. It's before death was invented. So the first living thing was on a fucking mission to take over the planet Earth's surface, and there would be nothing to stop it but its own fatality, its own overconsumption. So that's already been a point conceded. But still there's the argument that if life is so prevalent, if it's such an easy event to take place, why wouldn't there be a competing life form? Why wouldn't a virus or some other thing exploit all these living cells that are out there? and grab the food and the value and the energy that's in them. And you would make the argument, oh, you need a special atmosphere of ammonia trioxide. You need this, you need that. Well, that's exactly my fucking point. This isn't common chemistry. It's very rare and unique chemistry. And again, it didn't even in that sloshy sea. Okay, when you have two organisms and you put them on an island, the odds are they're not going to sit there and one will live and one will die. The odds are that they'll find a way to live with each other. Even if they have exactly the same needs, one of them will evolve to be a runawayer or to be something else, to find some way to prevent itself from being killed by the other one. They won't just sit there and fatally, wipe themselves out. That's not going to be the tendency. And so my argument to you is if life was creating itself all the time in this sloshy sea and there was all kinds of living organisms being developed and reproducing machines, then some of them would have survived. Some of them would have found a nook or a cranny in some volcanic island somewhere where they would have survived. And then they would have competed just like the other things that compete on this planet. And, they would have. That's the probabilistic. I can't say any of this for certain. I don't have a videotape, but neither the fuck do you. And I also have the evidence that we can't make one of these goddamn things. We can't even explain how how that procedure would have taken place. So let's not talk about it being common chemistry. It's bizarre, eccentric, strange, complicated chemistry. You motherfucker. That's what the evidence indicates. That's what I've said. That's what the evidence indicates. I haven't said it is a fact. I have said that is what the evidence indicates. All right, we'll jump ahead.
No argument there. I don't think there was anything we would call an animal, a multi-celled animal that was on Earth more than, what, 500,000,
Yeah, listen to history.
Matter stops here. This is where matter likes to be. In just kind of this chemical state where it's...
All right, well, now here he's just going to make this stupid argument that, once life is alive, it doesn't obey those kind of rules. Again, this is not my point. My point is most matter in the universe, all the matter we know except for this little bit of crap on the crust of the planet Earth, is matter that stays in rather stable conditions for billions and trillions and zillions of years.
Mixed into compounds that just kind of...
Once you get complex life, like in more advanced bacteria, God knows when they came along, maybe.
Right, well, okay, he's just getting to that point, okay, that once life is here, it doesn't obey the rules.
These are non-arguments. I mean, they argue that the life on this planet would consume any new life that ever tried to arise. And you could just make the counter-argument that there's just this equal probability that some new life form would be insidiously efficient in capitalizing.
Well, I don't know where you get equal probability, and I don't see why you're making...
Oh, I don't get equal probability from anywhere. I'm just saying whatever they're saying the probability is. They're the one making the goddamn statement that it fucking happened. I'm the one saying, well, there's just as much... They're saying all the other competing life forms were eaten by us. Okay, our ancestors. They ate them all. Every one that ever popped up, they ate it. 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 Okay, that's their argument. I'm just saying there's just as equal a likelihood that the other thing would have eaten. Okay, and there's every likelihood from the demonstration of evolution itself. Again, I will argue that organisms evolve to survive. They do not evolve to die. Alright, so they would have found a way, just as people say life finds a way. It would have found a way to survive. If there was a plethora of them, they would still be here, just as lions and lambs still exist, okay? Even though the grass and the wildebeest still exist, they would find a way to coexist. They would both exist. And they don't both exist.
Your assumptions on a probability or a possibility.
Yeah, it's not my assumptions. It's my counter-argument to the other fuckers' assumptions, jackass. You're the assholes assuming that the fact that life happened once means it happened more than once. I'm not the one making that assumption, asshole.
what you're doing. You have said, and I don't think I need to play this anymore. I can quote you on this.
Yeah, okay. Just listen to this fucker. He says he's going to quote me now. He won't bother doing it explicitly. All right? Because, yeah, that would mean he'd have to get it right. And he couldn't lie. So here he's just going to fucking lie.
That life only happened one time, and that was it. Therefore, it's very rare. But we don't know that. We haven't.
And I haven't said that. I've said every fucking piece of evidence we have indicates it happened one time. Do you have any evidence that it ever happened more than one time in all the known history of the fucking universe? Do you have one shred of fucking evidence that it ever happened more than one fucking time? So that's all I said, is all the evidence that we fucking have indicates it happened one fucking time. So again, you can't get it right. You gotta lie to make your arguments. You're just a fucking liar.
No evidence, one way or the other. All we know is...
Oh, here, we do have evidence one way or the other. We have evidence that it happened one time. Okay, we have explicit evidence that from all our observations, all we can find is evidence of one. You fuck. That's not an inaccurate statement. You shit fucking motherfucking fucker.
Survivors of that race.
Wasting my time on this bullshit.
Life could have formed thousands of times. And the most efficient one is the one that...
Yeah, well then why didn't that happen on planet Earth? Why are there not thousands, why are there millions of fucking species on Earth then? Why the fuck are there? Why is there all this fucking diversity if it's winner take all? If that's the way evolution works, that the winner takes all, then why isn't that evidenced in the evolutionary record? Fuck you, you suck.
Is ultimately responsible for us. And it couldn't happen again once Earth was changed.
Well, it couldn't happen with the identical chemistry. That's right. So, but why we have all this other chemistry? Why doesn't any of this other chemistry reproduce? So it's your argument that only one kind of chemistry can ever be reproducing, and that it can only happen in a certain atmosphere on a planet. And that would be sort of my argument that, yeah, it's a pretty narrow realm of possibility. That it's probably never going to happen on Jupiter, and it's never going to happen on Venus, and it's never going to happen on fucking Mercury. That's right.
Like life, as it happens, cataclysmically for most life, to alter the atmosphere to be highly oxygenated. Once that happened, it was.
Well, it's not going through all this oxygen chemistry. I never made any bizarre claims about that. I never said anything about that. I'm perfectly aware of how life has evolved its own environment, okay? Living things created the environment. They created the atmosphere on planet Earth of the constituent chemistry that exists now. And it was basically its own cesspool. It evolved children that basically ate its own shit. And that's what we basically are a product of. All right? And that's how life will evolve. I'm still going to make the argument, though, that there are a huge number of environments that haven't changed in billions of years, that are substantially similar to what they were, and that if life was a chemistry that was just so easy, it would be happening somewhere else, and maybe it would be a little bit different because it's a different chemistry. And as you pointed out, there's a fucking microbes that eat goddamn chlorine. There's fucking microbes I've heard of in caves that eat mineral salts. So this is just a bullshit argument that life can only do one thing and it can only be made one way. So the point is, if it was so prevalent, if it was part of the way chemistry works, okay, then we would expect that a jar of peanut butter left in the universe for 10 billion years would evolve into something. The chemistry would, blah, 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 and start reproducing itself. No, reproduction is a rare faculty of matter. It's a hard thing to acquire. It's a hard thing to acquire the capacity to reproduce yourself. This just doesn't fucking happen. You don't just throw fucking matter in a bucket and let it sit there and it just pops out and starts reproducing itself. So fuck you. Enough of this asshole. 19 minutes, fuck. Alright, I'll post this as a separate video. I'll do these separately. So anyway, yeah, fuck you. Okay, fuck you. You misquoted me and you lied. You're just a fucking liar. So fuck you. Oh yeah, end of the video.